Hi everyone, welcome back. If it's your first time here, then hi, my name is Bekah. I got a really good comment from one of you just the other day suggesting an all-stick makeup routine for summer travel. I thought it was such a good idea, and we're after Memorial Day, which is the unofficial start of summer. So I put together a routine that I may travel with myself this summer. I totally would travel with all of this, and also everything fits in this bag with room to spare. This isn't even half full. I don't know about you, but something I've learned about myself over many years is that I'm generally a makeup minimalist when it comes to travel. I do like to have a couple of different lip and cheek options, maybe a sparkly eyeshadow in the mix, but when I'm traveling, especially in the summer in hot or humid locations, minimalism is key. That said, I don't want to compromise on performance. I want my makeup to stay intact. I don't want it slipping and sliding all over the place. So I'm going to show you the routine. We're going to do it together. I'm going to give you a few different options within each category. Everything will be linked below. Let's get into it, starting with base. Typically, I rely on my SPF as primer. This is obviously not a stick, but I would always travel with a liquid SPF. I'm testing a huge number of Asian SPFs right now. This is the one I used today and I really like it. It's the Nivea UV Deep Protect and Care. It's a gel formula, it's SPF 50, PA4 pluses, and I really liked the elegance of how it went on. It's giving me a nice glow. It's like a very fluid gel texture, and it has high SPF protection. I really like Nivea sunscreens, so I'm not surprised by this. Full review to come. This was just a first impression. In terms of oil control and shine control, I am someone with combo skin. I'm oily in the T-zone, and Milk Makeup just came out with their Pore Eclipse Blur Stick. And it looks like this. It comes in their like matte black packaging, and it's got that little core. And this is really interesting because you can swipe it directly on your face, or you can use fingers to tap it on over makeup. I like the multifunctional use of this. I really like their original Pore Eclipse primer too. If you're super oily, that's great. The way I would probably use this for travel is to either swipe directly onto the T-zone or the nose where I get the most shine, or I would use my fingers to just sort of tap it on and blur over the pores. I feel like this is great because it gives you the option of touch-ups. It gives you the option of target application, which is what I like. Because personally, I still want to maintain some shine and glow around the rest of my face. And if you have oily eyelids like me, you can actually use this to even prime your eyelids for eyeshadow. Super convenient, really easy to use, really easy to carry around in a bag for touch-ups. Moving on to foundation, I actually have quite a few stick concealers and foundations that I have come to really enjoy. The one that I'm going to use today is the Ilia Skin Rewind Complexion Stick. I recently did a full review of this, talked about shade range, all of that in my last video. I do think the shade range for how many shades they are skews heavily in the medium category, but I will say for my skin tone particularly and my undertones, this is one of the best matches I've found. So I use the shade 12 and Sycamore right now. And I like this because it's kind of right in the middle. It's a satin finish. It's not too dewy. It's not greasy, but it's not matte either. A few other options that I totally would travel with. If I were going somewhere more hot and humid, I would use the Fenty Eavesdrop Blur Stick. This one is a little bit more matte compared to the Ilia. If you're looking for something even more natural, slightly dewier, the Merit Complexion Stick is a great option. Or if you want higher coverage, I would go for the Basma Stick Foundation. In the Merit Foundation, I use the shade Bisque, and then in Basma, I use the shade 032. So these are all stick products and base products that I would happily travel with. I'm gonna use the Ilia today. And when it comes to brushes, I know people hate dual-ended brushes. I totally get it, but this one is really good. And when it comes to travel and wanting to be compact, I would reach for this because it's just gonna give you that performance and function. And it's also a really good brush. This is the IT Cosmetics Classic Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection brush. And this Ilia stick is just so nice because I can literally swipe it all over and blend it out. I could even blend it out with fingers, and I would be happy with that. I am gonna take the brush and just lightly skim it over the skin. I'm not even really pressing very hard, And that's what I like about this stick is it just doesn't take a lot of effort to blend out. It looks like my skin, but better. I find it really blurs over skin texture, any pores or, you know, bumps under the skin, breakouts. I find that it just gives me a really even canvas while still looking super skin-like. I even have some breakouts here and I can add coverage. And I find when I blend them out with fingers, it keeps the coverage over the breakouts where I want it. So I'm totally happy with this level of coverage. I'm actually realizing I've even gotten some sun since I first tested this. I have the shade 16, 16N Madrone, and I actually feel like this would be a better match for me right now even. So that's the skin tint done. It just kind of evens over redness, evens over skin tone. Obviously, you totally could bring a liquid concealer, but I'm gonna stick to the rules of the stick makeup. And I'm gonna go in with the Jones Road Face Pencil as my concealer. This one is really nice because it has a really creamy waxiness. And I like the fact that I can just draw directly onto my face. I can cover up blemishes. I can do some target coverage. It's not a full coverage concealer by any means, but I find that because of the formula of this, it's slightly more emollient than a stick foundation. So it's actually something I carry with me a lot if I want to touch up my concealer on the go, but I don't want to bother with a liquid. I also find that this brush, I'm flipping it over to the concealer side. This brush is really great. I actually only recently got my hands on this brush for the first time. And I get why everyone loves it. I always thought this brush was a lot bigger than it is, but the shape of the brushes themselves are not that big. And so it's very versatile. You could totally do eyeshadow with this. I'm actually gonna use the same brush for cheek products. So I actually think it is perfect for travel, and it's not too long either. It totally fits in the makeup bag. Okay, when it comes to bronzer, there are several stick bronzers that I like. I like the ones from Milk Makeup. I'm gonna use the Westman Atelier contour stick in the shade Truffle. And I also like the Rare Beauty stick bronzers, the CL stick bronzers. These are all products I've used and reviewed on my channel before if you wanna look that up. But I am gonna go in with the Westman Atelier one just because I really like this shade in the summer. Truffle is their medium shade, and I like to just take this with my brush and kind of stipple it and then stipple it onto the cheeks. Even though this is called their contour brush, I find that this shade actually has the right amount of neutral golden shades that it looks good on my skin tone, and there is still a bit of warmth to it. But yeah, it's really easy to blend out, really easy to get a very diffused application of it so I can somewhat try to match my arms and my body. And I can apply just a really thin layer and adjust the shade of my foundation a little bit. For stick highlighters, I'm so excited to pull this one out again. I haven't used it in a while, and it's the 1999 Beauty highlight stick in the shade Perla. It's this beautiful, really like pink iridescent shine. It's not too frosty. It does have some glow to it. To be honest, this kind of fell to the back of my vanity and I sort of forgot about it. And then I was cleaning out my drawers today and I remembered how much I liked this. And it's a little bit different, you know, from like a champagne pearl or just like a glossy shine because of that pink iridescence. I think it's just really flattering without being ashy or silvery. I also really like the Merit Cream highlighters. They have the shade Kava, which I really like. I also like the Victoria Beckham Beauty Cream highlighter. There are a lot of different options for a format like this, but I do like this one because it's very thin and it's not oily or greasy. Once you apply it and sort of tap it out and spread it out, it doesn't stay greasy or too emollient on the skin, which I don't like. Now, when it comes to blushes, this is probably where we have the most choice. I'm gonna show you some of my favorites. I would pack any of these interchangeably, and I have actually traveled with all of these. These ones I love. This is the Victoria Beckham Beauty Cream Blush Formula, and I love these because they're actually quite compact. They're slim, and they're not too tall, and I really like the size of the stick itself. This is the shade Playground, which is one of my all-time favorites. It's this really beautiful like apricot peach. I've also traveled with the Persona cream blushes. This is the shade Bloom, which is really beautiful. It's like a nice peachy pink, kind of on the cooler side. And these are both like true cream long-lasting formulas. I do think the Victoria Beckham Beauty one is a little bit longer lasting than the Persona. Another extremely underrated but very long-lasting cream blush formula is the Mango People Multi-Sticks. So they look like this. It's the size of a bullet lipstick, but it's a lip and cheek product. I love the shade Jaipur, which is this gorgeous, like slightly warm rose. I have reviewed a bunch of shades of these on my channel before. They're so stunning. They also have a highlighter and a cream bronzer. Then we have any of the Nudestix formulas. We all know that that's what the entire brand is. They're stick formulas. And I really, really like their Peach Pearl, what's this called? Matte and Glow Core. This is Peach Pearl. It has this nice, almost like watermelon undertone to it. Very pigmented. There's also the Violette cream blushes. This is my favorite shade in Louise, which is like a peachy pink. Can you tell I have a type? That's the shade Louise. Of course, there's the Milk Makeup Original Cream Blushes, and then there's the Cooling Water Jelly Tint, which I think is perfect for summer. I think this is what I'm gonna use. I've reviewed and swatched all of the shades of this on my channel too. I might go in with these because it's just so summery and fun, that popsicle stain look. I am very familiar with this formula, so I'm actually gonna take it directly onto the cheeks, and then I'm gonna use a finger to tap out the edges especially. And then I might actually take a smaller brush. This is the Katie Jane Hughes brush. This is the shade Chill. It's totally a summer shade. This does have a bit of a stain effect to it, so it is going to be really long lasting. It's just really fun and vibrant and fresh. These are obviously different from the other cream blushes I mentioned. Everything else is a true cream formula, whereas these are a jelly stain. Now, when it comes to eyeshadow, I kind of just want something very simple and minimal, but I want to bring an option to add pizzazz. So I'm gonna go in with the Make Beauty eye Stilo in the shade Sonar. This is just a cream eyeshadow stick, and these are formulated in shades that are meant to help contour the eye shape. They're just meant to give a little bit of definition, a little bit of depth, and they blend out so easily. So I'm actually gonna go in with the smaller side of this brush, and these are super creamy, very forgiving. They are buildable to an extent, but they're not really high pigment eyeshadows. They just give me a little bit of sculpting and contouring to the eye. These eyeshadows do set down. They set down even more if you go over it with powder, but they do set down on their own as well. There's so many stick eyeshadows like this. You could go in with the Bobbi Brown ones, the Laura Mercier ones. I just happen to really like the shade curation of these. If I wanted to go for a smokier look, I might bring this in a deeper shade or a Kajal eyeliner. And then for a little bit of fun, I would bring a sparkly single shadow. So this is the Half Magic Chrome Addiction in the shade Lil Beast. Looks like this, and it's a great way to add a little bit of shimmer like all over the lid, or you can add it as a graphic liner. You can just turn the applicator on its edge and use it on the flat end. That's probably what I'll do now so I can show you. I would just flip it on its side and kind of just go along the lash line, keeping it pretty focused, and it doesn't have to be a precision moment. I also love these because they set down and they really don't budge once they set down. And you know how much I love this formula. I talk about it a lot. The one non-negotiable for me that's not a tube is obviously a lash curler. It's not a stick shape, but honestly, there's plenty of room for it in this makeup bag. Another non-negotiable for me is my mascara primer. Even though I like to wear tubing mascaras or long-wearing mascaras, when I'm traveling, the chances are I'm not gonna be touching up my makeup throughout the day, and I need it to really last. So my Peri Peri Ink Mascara Fixer goes under every mascara I use, even the tubing ones. And then I would bring something like a tubing mascara, like the Hamish tubing mascara, the Dialism one that I've been loving, or a waterproof mascara like YSL Lash Clash Waterproof, or something like my Surratt Noir Lash Tint. On vacation is not when I'm experimenting with mascaras, especially because of my eye shape and the fact that I have oily eyelids, and usually when I'm traveling, you know, your makeup just wears a lot harder. So I'm not taking any chances. So with this, I kind of focus it mostly through the curl and towards the ends of the lashes. That's where I need the most help holding up the curl. I wait for it to dry about like 75% maybe, and then I go in with my mascara. And this is the Hamish Dialism mascara that I have really been loving. It's tubing. I really like the brush. I have done a full review of this as well. So that's my mascara done. I probably would pack like my Victoria Beckham Beauty Kajal eyeliner, knowing that I may not use it, but I like to have that option if I'm going out in the evening. I've already done my brows with the Benefit 24-hour brow setter. I'm just gonna fill them in with the Kose Brow Pop in the shade Black. To be honest, my brow routine doesn't change much. It's always some version of these steps because I need that long hold for every day, whether I'm traveling or not. And then finally for lips, I always travel with a lip liner. I like something that's like a brownie nude because it's something that I can wear under like a tinted lip balm sort of formula, or I can wear it under a more full coverage lip as well. This is the Freck Makeout Club lip liners in the shade 1. It's a really good option. So I'm gonna show you this paired with the YSL Candy Glow Balms. These are new and these have this really cute pink packaging. It's the classic YSL, but in a pink metallic. And these are somewhere in between the Candy Glaze, which is like a thicker, richer formula, and the newer Love Shine formula. So here's what they look like. Unlike the Candy Glaze, they do swipe up and they swipe down. This is the shade Nude Lavalier. And they're very, very sheer. They're even more sheer than the Candy Glaze and the Love Shine lip formula. They also sent me pink Sunrise, which is basically like the Dior Glow sort of lip balm. It's basically clear, but it's going to look a little bit pink on the lips. And then they sent me Brown Nude, which is the deepest of the three. And this also has the YSL classic like mango lip formula scent, which I personally really love. So for daytime, I would go in with a pretty light lip with a tinted balm. I think I'm gonna go in with the shade Nude Lavalier. These lip liners have really been impressing me. I typically prefer a wooden pencil, but these are actually really, really long lasting when they set down. I'm gonna go in with that first shade, that light pink. And these feel much more like a classic tinted balm. They're a little bit waxier. They're not as melty as the Candy Glaze, but they still do feel really nourishing and comfortable on the lips as well. But it's not gonna be like high pigment payoff. You have to go over it with quite a few passes to get a lot of pigment. It's just easy and fresh and forgiving and really easy to reapply. This is definitely the kind of shade I could reapply after eating or drinking without looking in a mirror. But knowing me, I like options, so I would probably pack a full coverage lipstick for a bolder lip for a night out or for going out to dinner, a date night, something like that. Right now, the two formulas I've been reaching for a ton are the Prada matte lipsticks or the soft matte lipsticks. And I've been loving the shade Blush for like a candy pink. Or I would pack a red because I love the look of like really fresh skin with some highlighters, some glow, and just a red lip and maybe some mascara. I just love the simplicity of that, and it's such a classic summer look. You guys know I've been loving the Westman Atelier lipsticks. This is the shade LFG. Or no, sorry, this is the shade Pip. LFG is a hot pink. Pip is like a cherry red. But I feel like it's a great way to make a statement with your makeup without actually wearing or packing a lot of makeup on vacation. And this with like a white or black linen dress, something simple, is just like summer perfection. Let me show you what it looks like to pack this bag with everything I'm wearing, plus a few extra goodies. So I have the Milk Makeup Pore Clip Stick, the Ilia Skin Rewind Stick, the Jones Road Face Pencil for concealer, Westman Atelier Stick Contour, Milk Makeup Jelly Tint, the 1999 Beauty Highlighter, Eyeshadow Stilo Stick, the Half Magic Beauty Glitter Eyeshadow, Lash Curler, Mascara Primer and Mascara, Brow Gel and Brow Pencil, Lip Liner and Tinted Lip Balm, Full Coverage Lipstick, and my dual-ended brush. A couple of extra things I would pack. I would definitely bring a travel size setting spray. This is the Charlotte Tilbury travel size setting spray. I didn't powder, but because I'm on the oily side, I would bring a compact powder. This is the Westman Atelier translucent powder and a cushion puff, and I would probably put that in my bag if I'm being totally honest. And the last thing I would bring would be an SPF stick. I already did my primary application of SPF. I would pack this with my skincare, but especially when I'm on the go and I'm traveling, it's not always realistic, I'm gonna be honest, to do a full application of SPF over my makeup. I know I'm not perfect, but I would bring an SPF stick, something like this one. This is the Skin 1004 Centella Sun Stick. This is like the sister product to their SPF, which I love. I've already emptied and repurchased this. And this one is great because it's chemical filter, so there's no white cast, but it is a slightly matte finish. It has like a soft satin matte finish, not powdery by any means, but it's not so greasy that it's going to leave a heavy film on your skin. And it's great for retouching, especially around the face, around the neck, arms, all of that stuff. And just based on like my research with my friends, with Sean, people are much more likely to reapply with a spray or a stick than with a full liquid application. I know it's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. So I would bring something like this. And then I also have an SPF spray actually that I have to show you. This is the Kose Suncut UV Protect Mist. It's SPF 50 PA 3+, and it's the most lightweight, elegant spray SPF I think I've ever tried. There are some that I like in the Western market, like I like the Soleil Toujours one, but this is really, really nice. The one con is it does have some fragrance, but I don't think it's super strong, and it's not greasy. It doesn't leave like a film behind. It's the most elegant form of sunscreen mist that I've tried. So I'm even gonna apply it on top of makeup so I can show you. Give it a good shake. I would even do a few passes of this just to make sure I'm really getting an even reapplication across the skin. I would not use these for my initial application of sunscreen. I want to make sure that I'm slathering on enough to get sufficient protection. But these are two good reapplication methods, provided you apply enough. And in my book, when it comes to sunscreen reapplication, most people are doing none at all. So to me, something is better than nothing. So with those two options in here, my bag is now full, but I kind of count those as skincare and not as makeup. And the bag is zipped up. I think this is pretty compact considering how much we've stuffed in here, like a full face of makeup, a couple of options, sunscreen reapplication, setting mist. That's pretty good in my book. And of course, stick makeup is a good way to get around TSA liquid limitations. So that is it for me today. I hope you found this helpful. I will link this bag. It's a Milk makeup bag. If I can find it, I'll link it below, along with other travel bags I like, and also all of the other options that I mentioned within each category. I hope this was helpful. If you have any tips on what you like to pack, how you like to pack, tips to share with us fellow travelers, I would love to hear. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.